Rebecca Lamb has just revealed the truth that has been hidden for years about the real cause of Marcus Lamb's death. For so long, the official story remained uncontested, but now shocking new details have surfaced that could change everything. What has Rebecca been hiding, and why did she choose to speak out now? As the truth spreads, all eyes turn to Joni Lamb, whose immediate reaction left everyone wondering. Was it shock, anger, or something deeper? The Lamb family, once united in faith, now faces a wave of speculation, and Marcus Lamb's legacy is suddenly in jeopardy. The truth is out, but is the world prepared for it? Rumors surrounding Marcus Lamb's death are heating up the speculation. The news of Marcus Lamb's death rocked the Christian community and left many in shock. But as time passed, the questions surrounding his death only grew louder. For years, Marcus had been a central figure in Christian television, the founder of Daystar Television Network, a man beloved by millions for his faith, his preaching, and his unwavering commitment to spreading the gospel. His death, which was initially attributed to complications from COVID-19, seemed like a tragic but understandable outcome given the global crisis. But as the weeks passed, rumors began circulating, questioning whether the official story was the whole truth. At first, the speculation was subtle, small whispers among those closest to Marcus and the Lamb family. Some claimed that Marcus had been struggling with his health long before the pandemic hit, while others suggested that there had been underlying issues that had contributed to his sudden decline. The official cause of death, complications from COVID-19, was presented as the reason for his passing, but many people began to wonder if there was more to the story. The public, knowing only what they were told, were left to speculate. Was COVID-19 the true cause of his death, or was there something deeper at play? Some insiders claimed that Marcus had been battling more than just the virus. Rumors circulated that he had been dealing with a range of health issues for some time, including heart problems and other chronic conditions that he had kept hidden from the public. His sudden passing seemed almost too abrupt, too unexpected, especially considering that he had appeared to be in relatively good health just weeks before. Were there signs that had been missed? Did those closest to him know more than they let on? Whispers about the Lamb family's tight-lipped response to the news only fueled the speculation. While many admired the Lambs' dedication to their ministry and their personal lives, the sudden silence that followed Marcus's death raised suspicions. Why weren't they speaking more openly about what had happened? Some began to question if the family was hiding the truth, perhaps to protect the image of the network or to avoid embarrassment. Had Marcus been battling something that was considered taboo or too private to discuss publicly? Or was there a deeper, darker reason for his death that no one was willing to reveal? Theories began to take shape. Some claimed that Marcus had been under an immense amount of stress in the months leading up to his death. Running a multi-million-dollar television network like Daystar wasn't easy, and some sources speculated that the pressures of leading such a massive organization, combined with the personal toll of being in the public eye for so long, had taken a serious toll on his health. Could the stress have contributed to his sudden decline? Was there a link between his personal struggles and his physical health? Others speculated that Marcus had been involved in some kind of financial scandal or legal trouble, and that his death had come at a time when things were unraveling behind the scenes. While these claims were never substantiated, the very idea that the Lamb family might have been hiding something was enough to send shock waves through the Christian community. Daystar, a network built on faith, was now caught up in rumors of deception and cover-ups. We turned out of Texas, where controversial Christian television CEO Marcus Lamb has died after his battle with COVID-19. The conservative televangelist, making headlines this past year after his network Daystar dedicated hours of broadcast to anti-lockdown and anti-vaccination activists and groups. NBC News correspondent Maura Barrett has the story. They don't even know what is in the shot. Marcus Lamb, a broadcaster reaching hundreds of millions of people around the world and who vocally opposed the COVID-19 vaccine, died after battling the virus. He often spread misinformation on his network, which is one of the most popular channels with evangelical Christians in the country. They're giving shots to people that are already compromised, with their immune system. And his wife announcing the news of his passing on Tuesday. This morning at 4 a.m., the president, founder of Daystar, and the love of my life went to be with Jesus. Yeah, his son calling it the work of the devil. Some fans and critics even suggested that Marcus had been suffering from depression or mental health struggles that had been kept hidden from the public. As much as Marcus was known for his powerful preaching and leadership, there were those who believed that the weight of the ministry might have taken a toll on his mental well-being. The idea that someone so beloved could be hiding inner pain was a tough pill for many to swallow. But if Marcus had been suffering in silence, could it have contributed to his rapid decline? Could there have been something more going on beneath the surface than anyone had realized? The media, always hungry for a story, latched onto these rumors and began to run with them. News outlets started to dig deeper into Marcus's past, looking for anything that might shed light on his sudden death. Interviews with former colleagues, friends, and church members were conducted, and more rumors began to surface. Some insiders claimed that Marcus had been involved in secret meetings with other prominent figures in the ministry world, and that these meetings had left him feeling emotionally and spiritually drained. Was there a scandal brewing behind closed doors that Marcus had been trying to keep under wraps? Could the stress of dealing with difficult situations in his personal life have played a role in his health decline? As the rumors grew, so did the division within the Christian community. Some fans and followers rallied around the Lamb family, expressing their sympathy and support during this incredibly difficult time. They trusted that the family had done everything they could for Marcus, and that the official cause of death should be accepted without question. After all, Marcus had been a man of faith, a leader in the Christian community. Marcus Lamb, a devoted husband and father, his death was a tragic loss, and to some it seemed disrespectful to question it. Others, however, felt that the Lamb family owed it to their followers to come clean. They believed that the silence surrounding Marcus' death was only fueling the speculation, and that the truth, whatever it may be, needed to be revealed. Some even took to social media demanding that the Lamb family be more transparent about the circumstances surrounding Marcus's passing. The growing tension only intensified as time went on, with people increasingly divided over how much the family should disclose and whether or not the truth was being hidden from the public. One theory that began circulating and gained significant traction was that Marcus's death wasn't as simple as it seemed. Some believed that the stress and strain of the pandemic, combined with health issues, had led to an emotional breakdown. Others speculated that Marcus may have been privately struggling with guilt or unresolved issues from his past, and that his death was a result of the emotional toll these struggles had taken on him. Despite all the rumors, the Lamb family remained mostly silent. Joni Lamb, Marcus's widow, had made a public statement about her husband's passing, but it was vague and carefully worded, providing little in the way of specifics. She expressed her grief, of course, but offered no details about Marcus's final days or the nature of his illness. The silence only added fuel to the fire. Was Joni simply too devastated to speak out, or was there something more she wasn't saying? The public's curiosity grew, and soon everyone was questioning the truth behind Marcus Lamb's death. As more time passed, it became clear that the story of Marcus Lamb's death wasn't going to fade away quietly. The questions were only getting louder, and the Lamb family, once seen as pillars of strength and faith, now found themselves at the center of a storm of speculation and doubt. What really happened? Was the truth about Marcus's death as simple as it had been portrayed, or was there something else at play? As the rumors continued to swirl, it seemed that no one, not even those closest to Marcus, had the answers. My last night with Marcus at the hospital, I was taking care of him, and at around 3 o'clock in the morning, she said to me. She just looked at me in this dark room. I'm there serving, and she looked at me and she said, "Look what you have done to this family." I remember texting my mom saying, "I can't do this anymore." I told God, "You feel the pain of my heart, me and my child are ruining this family." And I said, "I know, my God, you're protective of me, you'll get me out of here." That was my last night. The next day he dies. Marcus Lamb's career and his marriage to Joni Lamb. Marcus Lamb's career was nothing short of remarkable. As the founder of Daystar Television Network, he had a vision to spread the gospel to millions through media, and he succeeded beyond expectations. Marcus was a dynamic figure in Christian broadcasting, and his hard work and dedication transformed Daystar into one of the largest Christian networks in the world. His passion for faith-based television and his commitment to reaching people with the message of Christ were at the core of everything he did. Over the years, Marcus built a loyal following, with fans and viewers who admired his leadership and his ability to connect with audiences on a personal level. His charisma and deep faith helped him carve out a space in the Christian media world, making him a household name for many. However, Marcus's career was not without its challenges. Balancing the demands of running such a massive network with his personal life was no easy feat. There were constant pressures that came with leading a global ministry, and as Daystar grew, so did the responsibility and scrutiny. Despite these pressures, Marcus remained determined to lead the network with integrity, striving to build something that could help spread the message of the gospel far and wide. Yet, the weight of the ministry and the constant media spotlight took its toll on his personal life. Throughout his career, Marcus was often seen with his wife, Joni Lamb, who was not only his partner in life but also in ministry. Joni had been by his side from the beginning, and together they built Daystar into the successful network it is today. Their marriage was often portrayed as a symbol of faith and commitment, and they seemed inseparable, both personally and professionally. Joni, with her strength, grace, and unwavering support, played a pivotal role in the growth of Daystar, often seen hosting programs and engaging with the audience just as much as Marcus did. Their relationship was built on a shared mission to spread the gospel and serve others, and for a long time, they were seen as the epitome of the perfect Christian couple. They had a family together, and their partnership was admired by many. However, as with any marriage, it wasn't without its struggles. The demands of their public lives and the constant pressures from the outside world were challenges that Marcus and Joni faced together. Though they worked side by side, the weight of running Daystar often pulled them in different directions, leaving little room for personal time. Despite the challenges, they continued to support each other through thick and thin, maintaining a united front. Though their marriage had its ups and downs like any, Marcus and Joni remained committed to each other and their shared vision. However, the reality of such a high-profile life came with its own set of complexities, which would only come to the forefront later in their lives. There's something that y'all need to always remember for the future of Daystar is about the cloud of God. The cloud of God represents the presence and the power of God, and there's so many your mother just enumerate all these great churches in Metroplex that they used to be the #1 church. But then when they didn't keep being led by the Holy Spirit, the cloud, the blessing, the favor moved on to another church. Wow. And we sometimes take that for granted. So if you want the blessing to continue on your life individually, on your marriage, then on your family and on Daystar, you got to be continuously led and guided by the Holy Spirit and all your decisions in your attitude in the way you think. Amen. You from the bottom of my heart for bringing Jonathan into my life, and to mine and Joni's life, and to our entire family's life, Lord. He has been such a wonderful son and such a godly Christian young man. I thank you how you protected him. Joni Lamb had always been a central figure in the success of Daystar Television Network. Her role as a co-founder alongside her late husband, Marcus, had catapulted her into the public eye, making her a well-known figure in Christian media. She was seen by many as the picture of grace, strength, and unwavering faith. To the public, Joni and Marcus's marriage was a testament to love and partnership, a union built on faith and shared goals. Together, they grew Daystar into one of the largest Christian television networks in the world, broadcasting to millions of homes worldwide. But behind closed doors, the story of their marriage and of the Lamb family was much more complicated. While Daystar flourished, the pressure of running such a large organization, combined with the constant media scrutiny, began to take a toll on Joni and Marcus's personal lives. It wasn't just the stress of managing a global network, but also the emotional strain that came with the constant public eye. Joni, who had always prided herself on being a supportive and loving wife, began to feel the weight of it all. The stress of trying to maintain the perfect family image while dealing with the personal issues and conflicts that came with a marriage under pressure started to create a rift between her and Marcus. As the years went on, the cracks in their relationship began to show. While the world continued to see them as the epitome of a Christian power couple, behind the scenes, things weren't as perfect as they seemed. Joni had always been fiercely protective of her family and her ministry, but some people close to the family began to whisper about the strain that was starting to surface. Marcus, once the charismatic leader at the helm of Daystar, had become more distant, often retreating into himself, struggling with personal demons that he never spoke about publicly. Joni, on the other hand, seemed more focused on her work and the network, dedicating herself to the public side of their ministry, while the personal side of their marriage was quietly unraveling. For their children, particularly Rebecca, this created a growing sense of resentment. Rebecca had grown up watching her parents juggle their high-profile careers and personal lives, and she had always admired her mother's strength and resilience. But as she got older, Rebecca began to notice that her mother's devotion to Daystar seemed to come at the expense of the family. The perfect image that Joni had worked so hard to maintain began to feel like a facade. Rebecca saw how her father, once a strong and vibrant figure, had slowly become a shadow of the man he once was. She watched as Marcus withdrew from the family, overwhelmed by his responsibilities and, in her eyes, by the strain Joni's ambition had placed on their relationship. For Rebecca, this created a deep sense of betrayal. She had always been close to her father, and his decline was difficult to watch. But we've given over all of our evidence over to multiple reporters, including the police department. Daystar was contacted for a comment by the journalist Friday, November 15th, and then I was subsequently fired the following day, November 16th. Some scary things happened, being followed, private investigators, intimidation threats. Even through all of that, things don't stop. So we felt like we had no other option but to reach out to a journalist. When you bring things to the light, things get better. So that's what we did. Absolutely. And I really felt from the Lord that even though a lot of wrong had been done to me, that I was to stand firm in the position that God had called me to and to not walk away right now. Susie and I are at an undisclosed location because we simply do not feel safe at our home now. Please know that not only has Julie Roy been given all of the evidence and his writing story that will be out soon. Multiple national reporters have been given all of the evidence as of this afternoon. They should be reporting some stories that will be out in the news very shortly. We never dreamed this would be our lives. We begged God for months and months that he would take it any other route, but we have to obey in the end. And if he says you know what, you're the ones who have to speak, it's the harder road. It would have been easy to just walk away. But if he says I'm calling you to do this, we have to do this. But what hurt even more was the role she believed her mother had played in it all. While Joni had always been supportive of Marcus in public, Rebecca couldn't help but feel that her mother's devotion to the network had overshadowed her commitment to the family. She began to feel that her mother was more interested in maintaining the image of a perfect family and ministry than in truly nurturing the relationships within it. As the tension within the family grew, Rebecca's resentment toward her mother became more pronounced. She began to feel that Joni's ambition for success had taken precedence over her family's well-being. She watched as her father's health began to deteriorate, both physically and emotionally, and she couldn't help but wonder if Joni's relentless drive for success had played a role in it. In Rebecca's eyes, her mother had allowed the demands of the ministry to consume their lives, leaving little room for personal connection or emotional support. She began to resent Joni for not seeing the damage that was being done to their family, for not recognizing the toll it was taking on Marcus, and ultimately, for the breakdown of their marriage. As Rebecca grew older and became more aware of the dynamics within the family, her feelings of resentment toward Joni only deepened. She had watched as her mother took control of the public narrative, presenting themselves as a united family, while behind the scenes, the cracks continued to grow. Rebecca began to feel that her mother's need for perfection and her obsession with maintaining the image of a perfect ministry had come at the expense of their family's happiness. She struggled with the idea that the woman she had once looked up to as a role model was, in her eyes, the one who had contributed to the disintegration of their family. In private conversations with close friends, Rebecca began to voice her frustrations. She felt betrayed by her mother's refusal to acknowledge the problems within their family. She often spoke about how Joni had been more focused on her public persona than on the emotional needs of her father. She expressed how difficult it was for her to watch her mother push forward with the ministry while Marcus's health continued to decline. For Rebecca, the truth was clear. Her mother's actions, or lack thereof, had played a significant role in the family's struggles. The growing tension within the Lamb family didn't go unnoticed by those in the Christian media world. As rumors began to spread about the cracks in the Lamb's perfect image, people started to question the true nature of their relationship. Some speculated that Joni's drive for success had created an emotional distance between her and Marcus, leading to his decline. Others believed that Rebecca's resentment toward her mother was not just about the ministry, but also about how Joni's actions had affected their family's dynamics. But through it all, Joni remained focused on her public image. She continued to present herself as the strong, unwavering figure in the ministry, always ready with a smile and a message of faith. Yet behind the scenes, the truth was much more complicated. The Lamb family, once the picture of unity and strength, was now facing the fallout from years of hidden struggles, with the wounds of betrayal and resentment festering beneath the surface. And as the speculation grew, it became clear that the truth about the Lamb family, about Joni's role in the breakdown of their relationships, was far more complicated than anyone had realized.